It is Friday. That's always a good way to start a show. I'm going to end this one in a much different form as usual. Not a bad way, just certainly a different way from usual. Thank you for being a part of the program this evening, and at least to me, and I think to you as well, I hope certainly a special program towards the latter part, so please stick around until after the weather, and let me take a few moments to tell you about this tape and what this one tape has stood for and represented for me today and this show and for you as well. It's brought me to tears. It has brought a lot of emotions around today, and it all started with one single tape, the very first one. So with that said, other news before we talk about that, which will include indictments released today by the current grand jury of McGoffin County, two of which name a McGoffin County husband and wife, both accused for sex-related crimes involving a child under the age of 12. I'll give you the latest as I can in just a few moments of other indictments that have been served or are able to be released at this hour. A sad update from Martin County, the worst fears being recognized there in their search. How close is Tuesday's general election, the gubernatorial race at least, looking? I'll show you that in a second as well, and remind you about voting times and places and things of that nature on the calendar. And I've got some other news to leave you with before I leave you for what's going to be a really nice weekend weather-wise. So please stay tuned for tonight's, I'm going to say special edition, again, referring to at least a small portion of it at the latter part of Your News Today. I'll be right back.
Platinum award-winning singer-songwriter Chris Jansen is coming to the MAC, and he'll be playing hits such as Buy Me a Boat.
But it can buy me a boat. It can buy me a truck to pull.
Fix a Drink.
But I can fix a drink.
And one of his most recent hits, Good Vibes.
I'm getting them good vibes. I'm living this good life.
Get your tickets now. Call 1-888-MAC-ARTS, stop by the People's Bank box office, or visit macarts.com.
I got me a full cup.
Born and raised in Eastern Kentucky, award-winning tax attorney, teacher, and coach Kim Reeder is running to be your next state auditor. Kim understands the auditor needs to be fair and hardworking. She's been traveling to all 120 counties to talk to Kentuckians about how the auditor's office can serve us. These experiences will drive her as auditor. Ready on day one, Kim will audit state school funding to local districts, shining the auditor's light on the gaps. Kim Reeder for state auditor. Qualified, professional, ready.
Get the right fit, the right tread, and the reliability you need for whatever you're rolling in at Conley Tire, where right now through October the 31st, get a $100 rebate on Generals, $120 on Kumos, and go to conleytire.net to find other special offers on the biggest names, plus brakes, oil changes, and computer diagnostics, all with 6 months no interest at Conley Tire in Staffordsville. Logan Corporation in Sagersville is now hiring. Due to continued growth and expansion, Logan Corporation is now looking for all local welders and fabricators, and experience is not necessary. For full-time positions with benefits, applications must be picked up at the Logan Corporation office at 124 Ward Road off of Parkway Drive in downtown Sagersville. Logan Corporation since 1904 and a leader in the manufacture of mining and truck equipment. The reassurance of getting your medications and over-the-counter needs at Sagersville's oldest and most trusted pharmacy, the convenience of curbside pickup and call-ahead service, and the fact that you can walk in, order to go, or sit down and get gourmet quality hot fudge brownies, nachos, shakes, coffees, hot dogs with homemade sauce, desserts, and more makes it more than your hometown Good Neighbor Pharmacy. It's a destination in downtown Sagersville, Frazier's Prater Drugstore. It doesn't get any sweeter than that. There where every day starts, it's made and it ends. From hitting the floor to hitting the road and back, your feet carry the day's duties. And if you're hurting from what might be a work or sports or stress-related fracture you don't even know about, diabetic, or that all too often heel pain that just won't go away, or any type of pain or discomfort or in need of wound care, come to where they care.
Put your best foot forward and come visit our podiatry team. We care about our patients and their feet.
That's Dr. Cheney and her team at Hope Family Podiatry Center next to Hope Family Pediatrics on the Mountain Parkway. We'll start off talking about next Tuesday's, can you believe it, next Tuesday's general election. And as you saw last night in my message as I was out of the office yesterday, and the one day that I really never like to be, I have this sense of burden that overwhelms me when I'm unable to be here, if it's a technical difficulty or just something that I have to be out of the office for. And yesterday was certainly one of the worst, but it had to be done, and I had to be out of town, and I had to as well reflect that Election Day, as you saw that message of 25 years in recognition, was one of the very first things that I covered. Not the first, but one of the first, back in November of 1998. And Election Day is falling on, of course, this coming Tuesday. And right now, at least one poll puts the Kentucky gubernatorial race pretty much in a dead heat. That's why you're seeing as many as normal, or perhaps more than normal, for this time of an election year as far as commercials and ads go, and signs and such, and those anonymous phone calls that are ringing our phones off the hook here in Kentucky. The race for governor is even. According to at least one poll, Emerson College did a poll. They contacted 1,000 voters, or likely voters, I should say, who are believed to have already voted, and asked them who they voted for. And 47% said Daniel Cameron on the Republican ballot. 47% said the incumbent and Democrat, Andy Beshear. There's a write-in as well that you'll see blank on your ballot. That got 2%. Undecided, a small 4%. So right now there's that much of a swing, and that's all. With the decision, of course, to be made maybe Tuesday night, or possibly the next morning, or hopefully at least soon thereafter. Other data from the poll says that about 57% expect Governor Beshear to be re-elected, and 46% think Cameron will win. The poll has a margin of error of about plus or minus 3 percentage points. A few other reminders. You can see the sample ballot in this week's edition of the Sagersville Independent on newsstands right now, which for McGoffin Countyans will have governor's race, the Secretary of State's race, Attorney General, Auditor of Public Accounts, State Treasurer's race, and the Commissioner of Agriculture. And as a reminder as well, excused voting continued today, as well as, I'm talking about absentee voting in the clerk's office, as it will again tomorrow, with, as was printed in the paper, early voting, absentee voting, for excused voting taking place again tomorrow in the clerk's office again, 8:30 till 4, with an hour off for lunch between 12 and 1. And, of course, you'll as well see all the voting locations at those various precincts, which are unchanged from last election. Turning to Martin County for an update on the coal structure collapse that happened there days ago, Tuesday evening of this week, shortly before 6:30. The worst of fears have been realized today, and the names of both men who have been confirmed to have died in that collapse have been released. If you're catching the 6 o'clock broadcast today, well, it's been almost exactly 3 days since the collapse was first reported, shortly before 6:30 on Tuesday evening. And since then, the search efforts, recovery, and rescue efforts have been unbelievable, as the agencies that have responded to this small portion of Martin County just have been miraculous. However, to that avail, Billy Ray Bo Daniels of Pike County was pronounced dead at the scene yesterday morning or the night before, shortly after the collapse. And the search then intensified for Alvin Nees, the second and only other worker, also a Pike County man, who was trapped inside the collapsed coal preparation plant. But just a few hours earlier this afternoon, he as well was declared dead. And it is now a full-blown rescue mission at the site of the Pontiga coal preparation plant, which has remained idle for a number of years and which was under the process of demolition. The several-story, 10 to 12 in all, steel, concrete, and other material structure came tumbling down the two workers as they were preparing it for demolition earlier this week. Turning back to local news, the Magoffin County Grand Jury returned a number of indictments yesterday, officially released today. A small portion of which I can report out this evening, as I always give law enforcement 24 hours to attempt to execute, or at least 24 hours to attempt to execute those warrants. One of the individuals whose indictment is named therein was already lodged in the Big Sandy Regional Detention Center, and a man, the subject of another indictment warrant, turned himself into the Magoffin County Sheriff's Department just a few moments ago. He has been named in several, it appears as though a total of 7 counts involving sex-related crimes against a small child, as well as his spouse named in a separate indictment. 24-year-old Gabrielle Fletcher of Sagersville was indicted for possession of meth, terroristic threatening in the second, wanton endangerment in the second degree of a police officer, resisting arrest, disorderly conduct, and menacing. She was also served with this indictment warrant, as she is currently lodged in the Big Sandy Regional Detention Center, jailed on the 31st, just a few nights ago, in a separate investigation, obviously, as the indictment was for events in August of last year, but jailed on the 31st for public intoxication, tampering with evidence, possession of drug paraphernalia, menacing, and other charges. While the grand jury also heard evidence that was presented before them by Detective Tony Tackett of the Kentucky State Police, which resulted in a returned indictment of Matthew Tackett of Twin Lick Road. Charged in 7 counts on the indictment. Count 1, sodomy in the first degree, victim under the age of 12. Count 2, sodomy in the first degree, victim under the age of 12. Count 3, rape in the first degree with the same victim believed to be under the age of 12. Count 4 and count 5 and count 6, sexual abuse in the first degree, as is count 7, sexual abuse in the first degree, victim under the age of 12. This for acts that took place, according to the Kentucky State Police, starting sometime around February the 12th in 2018 and extending all the way through February of 2 years later in 2020. Tackett turned himself into the Magoffin County Sheriff's Department just before 6 o'clock. While his wife, Ashley Tackett, of the same address, was also named in indictment but issued a summons and not an arrest warrant. She will be given a court date, but indicted for a single count of sexual abuse in the first degree, victim under the age of 12, complicity, specifically complicit charges of sexual abuse in the first degree. More on those indictments when I see you back here next week. More on the latter part of the program after the weather that I'll hope that you'll stick around for. But right now, it's tonight's Magoffin Farm Bureau calendar. First and foremost, a very happy and belated birthday wish, because I was out of the office yesterday, which was phoned in to our friend Ben Gardner, celebrating his 90th birthday. It comes most importantly, Ben, from Sarah and Dean and the Dunn family, and a long list of family and friends. But you know the deal here. What we all think of you, Ben. Everyone here in the Your News Today, Sayersville Independent Studios and offices, we want you to know we hope you've had a happy birthday as well, my friend. Happy birthday to you. Next, by way of announcements from our friends over at the Senior Citizen Center, they're having a vaccine clinic coming up for flu, RSV, pneumonia, shingles, COVID. Call for an appointment if you can, 606-886-2374, and there's the extension, 307, or email april.murphy@bigsandy.org, or I'm sure that you could call Marlene Howard over at the Senior Citizen Center, and she'll make all of this happen for you if you need a little assistance. But at the Senior Citizen Center, Wednesday the 15th, you got a couple of weeks on that Wednesday, not this coming Wednesday, but the next, a big vaccine clinic at our Senior Citizen Center from your Aging and Disability Vaccine Collaborative, powered by U.S. Aging. Christmas in November, I did not get to make it over today. It was very high on my list, I'm not going to lie. But it's been a big day in the science shop. Nevertheless, they wrap it up tomorrow. They had a good crowd today. Hope you'll stop by the Lloyd M. Hall Community Center tomorrow for the second and last day of Christmas in November, tomorrow 8 till 5. Some great Christmas gifts ideas, great personal gift ideas, some great things to see and eat, I'm sure, and smell and tickle all your senses. The Middle Fork Fire Department's got their live auction tomorrow. A beautiful afternoon for it. 4 o'clock over at the fire department. Pallets of new tools and other items, and the list goes on, and a soup bean dinner available there as well. So come ready to eat. Come here. whenever you want to see, of course, all the local news and information and weather and things of that nature, but as well when you want to know what's happening in and around Sagersville and the viewing area on our community calendar. And keep those birthdays and anniversaries coming. You want one sent to the Independent or want one published in the Independent, send it to Heather@SagersvilleIndependent.com. Turning to obituaries tonight, brought to you by the McGoffin County Funeral Home. Begin with a reminder of services to start tomorrow at 1 in honor of Fayreen Ferris Patrick, 78, of Sagersville, who passed away Tuesday at her home, the daughter of late Denny and Carrie Montgomery Ferris. She's survived by her husband Odell, daughter Regina Collett, her special daughter Jeannie Marie Ferris Porter, and her two sisters Essie Brown and Ines Smith, and 7 grandkids. Again, funeral services will be conducted tomorrow at 1 from the Lakefront Church of God. And services start tomorrow at 2 for 41-year-old Jamie Marie Puckett Bays of Sagersville. She passed away Monday at her home. The daughter of James Puckett and the late Dinah Blanton Puckett, she's survived by her sons James Ray Bays and Johnny Clay Bays, and her sister Joni Puckett, and a host of family and friends. Her services begin tomorrow at 2 from the Holiness House of Prayer. Let's switch it on over to tonight's 7-Day, brought to you by our friends at Licking Valley RECC, where we have not necessarily a perfect trajectory upwards. It kind of dips a little, but nowhere does it get below the 60s for daytime highs. And in fact, starting tomorrow, we'll hit the mid-60s and then the close to mid-70s by next week. Nice little return of some nice weather.
Joe Biden abused his power and opened the southern border, I took him to court. When Biden mandated vaccines, I got it reversed. When Biden drove up the price of new cars and gas at the pump, I rallied a dozen state governments to block him. Now the Washington liberals want to change our country for the worse. As your governor, I will fight them every day. Andy Beshear, he never will. I'm Daniel Cameron, and I put Kentucky first, even when it's hard.
2 locations, 2 ATMs, too much history, over 120 years, and just too many reasons not to trust the oldest, only banking family that exists for the sole purpose of helping your families, our friends, grow financially and securely. Lean on Sagersville National Bank for any of your home, auto, commercial, retirement, or online banking needs. And let us help you make your dreams come true. Someone dies in the U.S. every 7 minutes from an overdose, and over half of the population gets or takes pills from a friend or relative. And about 46 million and counting are exposed to narcotics in their drinking water. So don't toss them, flush them, or leave them lying around. Safely dispose of your unneeded meds anytime at Parkway Pharmacy,
where you can always talk to a pharmacist when you need one.
At Appalachian Wireless, we have the best service and the best deals right now.
Save up to $500 on iPhone 13s and 14s, all models, all gigabytes with trade-in.
Maybe go for an iPhone 12 for a penny with a 2-year contract.
We're not leaving out Samsung. Save up to $350 on select Samsung devices, including the S23.
It's a win-win this month at Appalachian Wireless. The service, the savings, y'all got to jump on this deal right now.
At Appalachian Wireless, we get you because we are you. We are Appalachian Wireless.
See AppalachianWireless.com for terms.
we've got to make sure we have an auditor that's up for the job and does it right. We've got to elect Kim as our next state auditor.
Kim Reeder for State Auditor. Qualified, professional, ready.
It's in the air and it's on the calendar. Fall is here and the seasonal shop is filled with new clothes for the season. New arrivals from Charlie Page, Mud Pie, Royce, and more. And the new shoes are some of their favorites that they've ever had. And beautiful t-shirts and sweatshirts for every occasion and season, plus new shirts for all the Wildcat fans, the Montgomery County Hornet fans, teachers, football mamas, and more. And fellas, they didn't leave us out either. After many requests, they have brought back the fan favorite turn rows, shirts, and hoodies, and they've got a large selection of Ridge and Holler. And if you need a little self-pampering, their new selection of spa gifts are the perfect gift idea or a treat for yourself. Fall and Halloween decor on the floor right now. It's gorgeous, and Christmas is coming through the door right now, all at the seasonal shop.
I believe in Kentucky.
I believe in Kentucky.
I believe in small town values.
And mom and dad and the things they handed down.
I believe some of the best people in the world are farmers.
I believe in insurance that protects families, homes, and cars.
I believe in always finding a way to do what you love.
I am Kentucky.
I am Kentucky.
I am Kentucky.
Definitely a nice little pattern rolling in. Not so much tonight, as there'll be another frosty morning in your future, as we'll see about 26 cold degrees tonight. I think we clocked 24 at the house this morning. Nevertheless, partly cloudy skies, 26 in a southwesterly wind, 3 to 7 tonight, and then ultimately down well below freezing. But on the other side of that coin is tomorrow and thereafter. And we'll just take a minute to remind you, don't forget to set those clocks back tomorrow night into your Sunday. Enough said there, right? 66, mostly sunny, a beautiful Saturday in store. Make the most of it. It's the longest day of sunshine you're going to see in a long, long time, regardless of how much sunshine we see Sunday and after. 66, mostly sunny in the first half of your weekend. Roll that clock back Saturday night into Sunday morning. We'll see 64 degrees, a bit of a dip there, but still beautiful, 64 and mostly sunny. And then we're climbing out of that 64-degree day, and it's onward and upward from there forward for at least a few days. We'll start off Monday of next week. If you've got a Monday banked, you can maybe take off. Be a good way to spend it. 69, mostly sunny on your Monday. 52 degrees for nighttime lows Monday night. That's a big and welcomed pattern change. Tuesday of next week, we're still holding on to the upper 60s. Page flip. 68 degrees on your Tuesday, mostly cloudy skies, but still 68 and only a 30% chance of showers. That will continue into your Tuesday night. Look at that, though. We bounce right back to 74 midweek, partly sunny, a lingering chance of some early showers, I think, before 9 a.m. Otherwise, we'll see partly sunny skies and 74. Another round of showers late Wednesday night into your Thursday, and then we'll go on a downward trajectory. How far down, I'm not quite sure as of yet, but I can tell you that we will hit that 74 degrees sunny Wednesday with maybe some AM showers, a nice day thereafter. Late that night, maybe showers return, and then continue more so into your Thursday. Right now, Thursday looks to be mostly cloudy, a 60% chance of showers, nighttime lows right around 43. And this time next week, well, we're back down to the 50s. We'll lose 20 degrees in less than, 3 days. From Wednesday to Friday, 74 down to 54, mostly sunny on your Friday, and a 20% chance of some more showers. Now, before I leave, I would like to leave you with a few words of thanks, appreciation, and a lot of other words that I'm going to try to grasp for, that I'm going to do a poor job of. Every year for the past 25 years, November the 2nd rolls around. Sometimes it just completely catches me off guard. It's kind of like birthdays. Some are bigger than the others. And I know on the 20th anniversary of this program, 5 years ago, it just snuck right up on me. And I remember saying then, 25 years is going to be a major milestone. I'm going to do something big, and we're going to, and 25 years rolled around, and it's just as though it was 5 years ago, 5 years before that. Just day-to-day operations of the newspapers, the sign shop as well, all of which I am so grateful to have and be a part of it's just a never-ending circle, and it's a good problem to have. I'm not complaining at all. I'm so fortunate to have as much to keep us busy as we are. So, just to make the point that no balloons, no fancy backdrop, nothing major except for this one tape. And if you'll just bear with me for a minute, I wanted to share it with you. So 5 years ago, on our 20th anniversary, I pulled up my very first program. So I didn't figure we need to do that tonight. So then I thought, let's go back and see the very first thing I have. So back then, and up until not so many years ago, everything that was recorded on these mini DV tapes, these little digital tapes, which were new at the time and really enabled me to do this show as far as technology is concerned. And this is the very first one that we ever filmed anything on. I've got, I don't know how many hundreds of these that are just somehow, someday, some way, I hope to be able to transfer them and catalog them. Only about a third or fourth are. And we start to bring some of them back out because, it's now getting 25 years and older, so some of this is starting to become, dare I say, antique or anything of that nature. Nevertheless, so let's take a look at Your News Today just before there was a Your News Today, and that's what's on this tape.
Hello, McGoffin County. My name is Rick Mortimer, and I'm here to ask you to stay tuned to Channel 7 TV. In the very near future, I'll be bringing you up-to-the-minute news coverage for McGoffin County and the surrounding area. For the first time, you'll be able to tune to your local station and see actual footage of your law enforcement officials, firefighters, and rescue squad personnel risking their lives on a daily basis to protect you and your property. You will witness firsthand the things that impact our community. Many of these will be serious. Some will undoubtedly be tragic, and others will be positive things that sometimes go unnoticed. We will have interviews with people that govern and shape our lives and our community, along with thought-provoking debates from time to time. Our goal is to keep you better informed and to keep you involved in our community. I think this newscast will be of monumental importance to you and your family. Watch for it to come soon and stay tuned every weekday from 6 to 6:30 p.m. Thank you very much.
That's tape number 1. Before there was a Your News Today, there was a concept in my mother's head. I've told you that story. We'll not tell it again tonight. Nevertheless, we had to start somewhere. And we had to start practicing and finding some material for our first show. Some very first footage we ever shot. October the 18th, 19th, around there. Look at some of these kids. They weren't kids. By comparison, makes you want to think that, though, doesn't it? October of 1998. We were out filming a fire alarm at Grover Arnott's law office. Auto accidents and other calls. Just trying to put together some material. Was it going to work? A lot of folks told me, how are you going to be able to have enough show to support one every weeknight? There's just not enough news in McGoffin County. We didn't know. We were convinced by ourselves that we could do it. And with the likes of the help of our fire chief, Paul Howard, our local police, and others who were willing to help and actually saw the reality, as did one very special friend who realized the potential then, not just in me, but in this show and the ability to help it with his platform. I'll get to him in a second. We started compiling all of this just a few days before Election Day, November of 1998. Feels like a lifetime ago, and it feels like yesterday. Auto accidents and the like, and of course you couldn't roll on an auto accident in McGoffin County without rolling up to the Big C, who was the before-mentioned individual who perhaps saw that this show was a way for him to reach the community during times of emergency and the like, and let them know what was happening. I have made friendships, that big fella right there, I still consider one of my very good friends today, with so many of these people and so many others that I'll never be able to repay them, thank them, tell them how much they mean to me, some of whom we do not have to thank anymore. But it has meant the world to me to be able to say that I have made these bonds, that I have grown up alongside these individuals. Even though I was a man in his 20s, I was a very young man in his 20s when all of this started. I still feel that way at heart sometimes. But it is just overwhelmingly humbling to sit and to look back on just one tape, the very first tape, the pre-Your News Today tape, as we were looking for interesting stories, human interest, speaking of humans, and otherwise. And for almost half of my life, many of you have been here each and every weeknight for it. And for that, I'll never be able to repay or thank you. You have watched and stood along as I have succeeded and failed at different things and parts of this program, as I have, alongside my wife Angie, started and raised a family, which has, of course, now grown up and gone to college. And for all of that 25 years, I just don't have the words to let you know how much it has meant to me. One of hundreds, and the history is vast, and I've been so fortunate and blessed to just be a part of it. You know, I go home each and every night disheartened and overwhelmed because of what I didn't get to cover on this show. There's so many things going on, and so many good stories, and other things that there's just so many hours in a day, and that's kind of why I keep pleading for help. That's sometimes nightly, trying to find some folks who might be interested in sitting here at the desk from time to time, or filming certainly, and editing some news and things of that nature. But I say that to also say this, that I just hope you understand how important this show is to me, and how important you are to me for watching it. When I have time to get out across the county line and go to Johnson County, it used to be a couple times a day or a week, certainly now it's once a month. Never fails. Someone new approaches me, loves the show, watches the show. Folks who are watching in other states who don't even have any ties to McGoffin County. It is all humbling, and I am very, very appreciative. It is not just only, I really do believe, and I hope you feel the same, allowed me to put news and information, and good and bad or otherwise, out there that just wouldn't have otherwise been known or heard of. And the other thing it has done is it has given me what it was also intended to do, the opportunity to stay here and live here in McGoffin County and raise my family here. And for all of that, I thank you more than you will ever know. So, enjoy your weekend, and I will see you back here Monday for more of Your News Today. Thank you for watching.